Can I just say this was quite embarrassing, right? So we were on 699
Oh my,
timers,
yeah.
and we put out there, let's get 700 before tonight. I've checked back after 698.
We hadn't gained one, we'd lost one. Hi guys, welcome back into the Below Par podcast. Today we're going to be answering a few questions from the Q&A Joe and I put out on our Instagram accounts. If you don't follow us already, we're going to mention it in every video because we're going to try and grow our Instagram. That's where we're going to do all our updates from. So follow Joe Stevens PGA, as you'll see on screen, if we can get our super duper editor on it, or follow Joe Lovery if you like. I'll let him plug himself later on in the video. But remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay updated about all uploads. So Q&A then. Anything you want to say, Joe, before you get started on the...
Have you had a nice week?
I've had a great week, actually.
Good.
Yes, I've been spending most evenings either at the gym or behind the laptop making videos for YouTube now, which is
very good.
Something I didn't think I'd be doing, and doing my final ever PGA assignment.
Well, I have, that's a lovely feeling. That's a lovely feeling. What I was going to say is I have a feeling that your video is coming after this video, because I think this video is going live tonight. I think this is my job today, is to get this video uploaded. Yep. So I'll get this uploaded tonight, which means your video is actually coming after. So we can plug your video in this video.
Yes, we can. See, this is an experienced man on YouTube. Check out the pint glass, by the way.
You're actually going to pull out some Moretti then on the top of the grass. I've thought, at lunchtime.
I'm back to the shop this afternoon.
And what's your last PGA assignment on? We'll do some stuff, I think, on the PGA, because I know we've said we'll do this. I think it's certainly worth doing, but what's your last one on?
I am creating a business/promotional plan to grow ladies' participation in golf. That's the summary of it. Right. So there's lots to look into. There's 3,000 words worth of in-depth analysis. I hope the PGA see it that way, because that means I'll pass. That's all I'm after. That's what I'm after. So get qualified, and come the summer, YouTube and tournaments. That is the goal.
It's a very good plan. It's a very good plan.
I've got to pass first.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. So actually, speaking on what we've just spoken about there, that kind of brings us on to the Q&A questions. So I know we put it live on our Instagram pages. So if you don't follow those, do, because you won't be able to take part otherwise in these Q&As. And obviously any questions you ask them potentially won't be answered. Though actually, if you put it in the comments, I've made a real effort recently, like the golf fashion guy, plug him in there again. Like him, to answer all the questions that we receive on this YouTube page. So please do, if you have any comments or anything, leave them below. We'd love to sort of start to engage with you guys as well as to what you're after. But Joe's drink of choice there does bring us on to potentially our first question from our Q&A. And let me just find it, which is, what is your favorite drink in the 19th hole?
That depends on how the round has gone. That's quite a cliche answer, but I'm a cider drinker. So if I'm drinking alcohol, if there's an endless choice, I'd have Stowford Press every day of the week, and I'd sit in the sunshine on the terrace. I can picture it now. Well, no more to say on that. Stowford Press, pint of Stowford Press, and a few crisps. Lovely. Not good for losing weight, but that's the way I'd go. Good
choice. I think for me, so I'm a bit of I don't drink that much anyway, as you know. For me, I really like the sort of cheap tasting Coke. And this sounds awful, but if you go to, let's say, a KFC or a McDonald's and you get that real syrupy Coke, you get some of that sometimes in a golf club. You shake your head. I promise you, there'll be people on here that will agree with me, and they'll agree that it's such a great tasting drink. And I can have more than 2 of them and still drive home.
Yeah. Oh no, I'll be the first to admit I do like it, but that wouldn't be my drink of choice after a round of golf. I'd want to chill out. I've just walked 18 holes with a bag on my back, and alcohol.
For you, in fairness, it's quite a long walk, isn't it? Well, you're going to have to hit a lot more shots than most people.
Well, no, it's more hacking out of dodgy lies. Would be the reason for my extra calories burned.
No, that's fair. I mean, for me, I spend a lot of my time reaching into my golf bag for another golf ball. So similar sort of situation.
Key.
Next question we have. Let's go. We'll go from the top. Tips on nutrition on the course.
Tips on nutrition on the course. So it depends who you are and what you want to get out of your golf game. If you're there playing every Saturday, doesn't matter. Have a slice of cake. Do whatever. Take a Yorkie out there. Take a beer out there. If you're out there for recreation, do whatever you like. But thinking about the serious stuff, if you're someone that's going to try, let's say, for example, I don't know, you go in to play a 3-day tournament when after 2 days there's a cut. There's a lot of golf to be played and you burn a lot of calories. So you need slow release energy. So pre-round is most important. Get your oats in, if you train in the gym a lot, I'll always try and have a protein shake. But oats for breakfast for me, if I've got a big tournament week ahead or I'm playing lots of golf, oats in the morning would be the best way to go. So flapjacks, nuts, that's the sort of snack that I'd be choosing on the golf course. And water. Don't bother with the sugary stuff. Water, nuts, oats, flapjack, that sort of stuff. That would be the main thing on mine.
I think for me, so when I played full time, I was quite lucky to work a little bit with nutritionists. Just with the university that I was at, we had access to nutritionists, psychologists, those sorts of things. And I don't necessarily think, I mean, in fairness, one of them is big now. He does a lot of the food for the European Tour, and he was chatting to us about healthy meals and things for the evening. So like night before, you'd be having lots of pasta, sort of carbohydrates, something to give you obviously energy for the rounds that are coming up. What I would say is during the round, when I used to play full time, one of the things I used to do was carry jelly babies with me. I'd have a jelly baby or a couple every 3 holes or something. It just kept me ticking over, and bananas. So I was jelly babies and bananas. I did try a mixture of like flapjacks, those sorts of things. I just found for me, they just felt a bit heavy. I'd eat them and I'd just feel slightly sluggish. And I know you might go, oh, it's just a flapjack. But honestly, I think sometimes when you're in a tournament situation, I sometimes feel I play best when I'm hungry. When I get a slight hungry feeling in my stomach, I tend to play quite well. So for me, I sort of would try and get that feeling slightly towards the end of the round. So I'd be looking at jelly babies, keeping it light, and then again, water. So there's also an idea that you make your own, is it isotonic drink? I mean, we're starting to talk very seriously now, but I'm pretty certain we used to put a little bit of salt in it and fruit juice and water. For me, I found that one of the problems I had with that, and this is an interesting point. So they give you a certain amount you're meant to drink, don't they, when you're out on a golf course, when you work with any sort of nutritionist. They're like, you must drink 3 bottles of this and this isotonic drink. Well, the issue I found, Joe, it was almost like, I mean, we've all been there. We're on a night out and you break the seal. And once the seal is broken, the seal no longer works. We can agree with that, can't we? It's sort of sip and you're back and forth. It turned into that on a golf course once for me in a tournament. And to give you an idea, I was doing okay. And on the 16th, 17th and 18th hole, I had to go twice on every single hole.
Now, interesting.
I was there going, this is too much liquid for me. But this is the thing, and this is why it's interesting for each person, is you have to find what works for you. So I knew, for example, for me, I couldn't go drinking that amount of liquid. That just isn't sustainable. You imagine that with a crowd, it'd been particularly awkward. So for me, I had to learn what my limit was. So for me, it was like 2 bottles of water, and it's just the small ones. That was fine. 1 the front 9, 1 the back 9. Keep it steady, and then I felt as if I could play without any distraction.
Yeah. Interesting you say that about going to the toilet on the golf course. For me, every time I need a wee on the golf course, as long as it comes at the right time and there's an opportunity to wander off into the woods, for me, that reset me. I'm like, right, okay, right, that's done. I know that sounds really weird, and there's probably going to be a few comments saying, "What an absolute fruitcake that his reset button on the golf course is going for a wee." But for me, I'm like, right, yeah, that's better. Right, we can reset now, feel comfortable. And for me, I always have a good run after I've gone for a wee.
Get rid of all the badness. Get rid of all the bad
Maybe.
shots. You're literally getting rid of the bad shots. That's what's happening there. Nice way of
I've
thinking.
never understood talking about breaking the seal and whatever, and you went on a night out. How? There's some people that play really, really good golf, either hungover or having been on a session that lunchtime and playing in the afternoon.
Okay, I know some of the answers to this. Okay, so basically, I've done some reading around this. So what there is, supposedly, I'm gonna make this really simple because I'm not gonna go too much into depth on this. But if you want a full video on this, we can do. Essentially, there's an inner you and an outer you, right? Your inner you is your subconscious, your outer you is your conscious. What happens is when you really care, so let's say, for example, a club championship, your conscious takes over. It wants to do really well. Picture your driving test. You're learning to drive, everything's okay. You go to your driving test, you're really cautious about where the clutch is. You're really cautious about how to put the accelerator on. You're really manually inputting your steering. Well, if you did that now and drove...
But don't drink and drive.
No, please don't do that. Your driving would be completely different to how it is now. You know, you can drive at the moment and you'll be reading road signs, you'll be listening to music, you're looking out the window. You know, you are driving and your subconscious is looking after all the controls. Essentially what happens is, supposedly, when you have a couple of bits to drink, your conscious begins to break down. So you become less careful. You don't care as much. And when you don't care as much, your subconscious, your inner you, all the hours of practice you've done, building techniques, that then takes over. So actually, a lot of the time, that would make you play better than when you were playing consciously.
I'm glad we've spoken about this because we can put this in the title now.
We can.
Is drunk golf the best thing for you? Question mark, exclamation mark.
I'll tell you what, we will do a full video on that. But that brings us on to actually another question, which was how to prepare for club championships. And I know I've got a little bit I can certainly say on this. Do you want me to go first?
You take the wheel of this because okay. I did useless. Maybe it helped me. I mean, obviously I can't play club championships anymore, but I was useless in the club championships.
So this was quite an interesting question. And when I got sent this, it kind of took me back. So when I was at university, I remember going off to play my first tour event. And to give you an idea, this thing was being built up for 3 months. They're like, it's going to be one of the biggest events you're ever going to play in. It's going to be really competitive. You're going to be playing with some good players. You know, the course is suddenly going to be of an expert standard, all these sorts of things. So in your head, I had 3 months of build-up coming up to this round. And to be honest, it was 3 months of me just bricking it the entire time, thinking about that first tee shot. So leading up to it, night before, what did I do? I cleaned my clubs, I stocked all the balls in my bag, I made sure everything was ready to go, I double-checked everything, made sure I had the course planner going, I've mapped the course out, I've done all this stuff. And we're going to chat to Dane as well about course mapping, because he started working with a company that does that, so we'll chat about that as well. But I did all this stuff that, let's say for the practice round the day before, I hadn't done, or the day before that. Well, in the practice round of things, I'd played really well. During the actual round, I played terribly. I remember the first hole in particular, I think I made a 9 on the par 5, was just so nervous and just couldn't control my emotions on my golf swing. Now, that again is my conscious taking over. I'm caring too much. Now, the way to picture it is when you're going into like a club championships or something, the course is going to be set up slightly different to your medal, agreed. But actually the course itself will be the same. You're playing on the same course that you play in, week out, or should be. Essentially, you shouldn't treat it any differently to what you would your medal or your round. Now, that means don't start cleaning your clubs the night before. If you don't start cleaning your clubs the night before, don't start watching YouTube videos the night before, unless it's us. Unless you watch YouTube videos the night before. Try and go about it how you normally would, because as soon as you start to bring extra emphasis on this tournament, your body's going to get out of its comfort zone. It doesn't want to be in that environment. It wants to get back to its comfort zone. That's how I always envision it. So you need to try and find a way. Let's say for club championships, you're thinking, okay, I want to take this a little bit more seriously. What I would do is maybe the week before, start, you could clean your clubs the week before, give them a quick dust off before you put them in your locker before the event. That's absolutely fine. That shouldn't be out of the ordinary anyway. And then go about the day before as you normally would. Now, on the day, because a lot of people on the day start to make the mistake. If they don't normally warm up or use the driving range, or they've forgotten where the golf course driving range is, because I know some people have, don't then go to the driving range that morning and start expecting to hit the ball really well, because you're not in your comfort zone. Best thing to do is whatever you normally do. If you normally do a warm up in the net, do a warm up in the net. Don't hit any more balls than what you'd normally hit. Don't try and put any more emphasis on the strike. Don't worry about where the balls are going in the net if you don't normally worry about it. Because then when you get on the first tee, you're in your normal comfort zone.
Yeah.
When you're in your normal comfort zone, you're going to play your best. And again, this is going to sound terrible the way that this comes across, but it is the genuine truth. Play as if you don't care. And that doesn't mean start putting with the back of your putter and putting one-handed. But once you've made your choice, hit your choice. Don't start overthinking it. It's notorious. Club Championships is notorious for taking much longer than what a normal round of golf would at the golf club. A medal you might get around in 3.5 hours. Club Champs is 5.5, and everyone's queuing on the 16th tee box. You end up with this sort of real backlog because everybody suddenly thinks they're Tiger Woods and they have to line up from 40 angles and then they go and putt.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's only ever going to make it worse because you're going to second guess yourself. You're going to see things you don't normally see. You are playing the golf course you normally play.
Yeah, there's nothing out of the ordinary there, is there?
Exactly. There's nothing out of the ordinary. And, people complain that tour players are slow. Well, if I was playing a golf course each week, I'd probably slow down a little bit as well. But around your home course, there is no excuse to play at a different speed during club championships than what you'd normally play. And I promise you, if you manage to go out in a two ball in club championships, and I know isn't really a thing, but if you manage to get out in a two ball at the front of the field and you set yourself a target, you have to get around the golf course in a certain amount of time, I bet you would play a lot better than what you would in a four ball at the back of the field taking your time.
Yeah. And I think specifically on the club championship topic there,
yeah,
you look at the past winners of your club championship, whoever you are, whoever's watching this video, look at the past winners of your championship. I reckon there's two categories of people that dominate that leaderboard. It's either a young gun who's just unreal at golf, which unfortunately wasn't me at my club, or the guy that's played their years, doesn't really care. He carries his bag. He's got old clubs that he trusts and just goes out and plays as if he's playing his normal round of golf. And they will be the two people that win the club championships every year without a shadow of a doubt. I
use this example a lot when I'm sort of chatting about putting and putting coaching. But did you ever watch the game show, The Cube?
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have a certain amount of money, and the idea is that you throw a tennis ball into a box from 10 feet, right? And essentially your lifelines made the box get bigger or smaller, or the distance you get closer or further. But they give you is it like a minute or so, first of all, to look round the obstacle and see if you're happy to do it, isn't it? Something like that. You get some time to look round it. Now, what's amazing is if you gave people that daily task, if you just said, just do this, they could probably do it straight away without thinking about it for a lot of the tasks. You see that thing, whatever they call it, that goes around and does it all first, that lady that goes around and completes it all. She makes it look so simple. But as soon as you put £50,000 on it, throwing this ball into a box suddenly turns really hard because you start consciously caring about what happens. You care about your arm. You care about the movement that it makes. You care about when you let go. It's like if you start thinking about breathing, suddenly it becomes, now I've got to breathe and now I stop, now I breathe out, and now I breathe again. It doesn't work naturally. And if it doesn't work naturally, it becomes harder. And, if you were just literally, if you walked in that cube, took the ball and went, there's a box, and threw it at it, you'd probably be pretty good. But some of these throws and things you see are awful, absolutely awful. And I think it is just that extra pressure.
There's an interesting concept. And actually, he did send in a question to this Q&A.
I know exactly
he has mixed reviews.
Yes.
I love a lot of his stuff. Now, we're talking about natural here. We're talking about not thinking about it too much, not overcomplicating things in preparation for a golf club, for a golf club championship. Think about your best rounds of golf. You're not thinking about your golf swing. You are just hitting the ball at a target.
Yeah.
And you naturally adjust. So, Robin, thank you for the question. And no, I have never partaken in sexual activity on the golf course. Thank you.
Right, moving on. So, how to organise your golf bag?
Say again.
How to organise your golf bag?
How to organise your golf bag?
Yeah.
Have the stuff that you need in there, and that's it. That's my answer to that. But there's one thing that we really, really need to point out: woods at the top, everyone.
Yeah.
Don't mess around and have the woods at the bottom. I'll say no more on that, but that is just one of my real pet hates.
The funniest one I've seen with that is a guy had the woods at the bottom and it wouldn't sit in the bottom properly. So it was kind of propped and then bending the shaft against the trolley. And I was there thinking, surely you must realise that's not right. I think in terms of organisation, I think a lot of people do get this wrong, where what you see is they put like a tee and ball pocket together. You know, you've got a load of pockets in your golf bag. One's for golf balls, one's for tees. And use a pocket for tea. You know, you don't need to use the big pocket at the front for teas. Normally it comes to some little side zips. Honestly, you put a couple of packets of teas in there, it will fill that pocket. You don't use it for anything else. You're not going to carry your pencil in it, right? Put your teas in it. And then you've got your ball pocket and you've got your, you know, I've got a little leather pouch I use from
there you go. That was my answer.
From
that
Sunningdale. From Sunningdale. Ooh. That I put, you know, watch, that sort of bits in there. I don't tend to keep it in that pocket at the top. I like just sort of keeping it away. So put watch, few valuables, whatever it is, all in this pouch, zip it up, put it in the bag, and then it's away. You know, use the top bit for your phone, and then you're good to go. Yeah. And also, don't collect crap in your golf bag. That's one of my last points. The amount of times you see people lugging around these massive golf bags. They've got 4 sets of waterproofs and 8 jumpers and a sandwich from last year. You know,
everyone, I think every golfer falls into that trap.
Yeah.
And it's something that I try and do now if I can. Well, I don't play as much now, but periodically when I was playing a lot, I'd try sort of every 3 weeks just to clear it all out and put what I need back in there and keep the rubbish out. Do that. I mean, clean mind, clean bag. There's a new saying for you. clean bag, clean mind.
I wonder if that could be our slogan. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Below Par podcast. Clean mind, clean bag. We welcome you back.
No.
Oh, amusing. Right. Okay. So moving on. So what clubs do you use and why did you choose them?
Because
sponsorship deal.
I didn't pay for them. But there is method to the clubs that I'm using. Now, this year, last season, I have been and still am an ambassador for Mizuno. So,
who were you before that, Joe?
That didn't really take off.
What brand did you use before that, Joe? Just tell the viewers it came in a box.
That's so rude. If Johnny's watching this video, I don't know whether he will be, because I know he's seen a few stories. No, that's very rude. I liked it. It just didn't take off.
You didn't like the woods that much that you were going to use different you were going to use different gloves and put different head covers on it. We might as well be honest.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely, I would. And if anyone, I mean, well, you've only got to look at the Tour Pros. If anyone's using Wilson Staff, you're using the irons and the wedges.
Yeah. Okay. So in complete defence to you, because that was a little bit harsh, but we've got to poke a bit of fun at it. We don't necessarily need to mention the brand as such, but the irons were very good. Now, the only problem well, yeah, sort of. The irons are very good. The only issue is the idea, or for me, I think for us, the idea of traditional lofts in the modern game in a very slim head meant that you were suddenly 1 or 2 clubs back, which realistically made it harder. Yeah, we can agree to that. Now, I'm by no means slating the brand here, because the brand, some of the stuff they do is excellent. For example, the box sets we used to sell, so the 1200 XV or whatever it was, and they updated it, didn't they? What an amazing bit of kit for that price point. Honestly, you can't get better. Moving into, you know, some of the later stuff they've done, you know, the golf balls, the DX2s, they've sold amazingly well. Really, really good quality ball. The only thing is, and we can say this because we've hit so many different brands, it probably wouldn't be, if it was my money, it wouldn't be my first choice. And for me, it purely was that loft option. And I don't know, I think they gave you an option, didn't they? You could spec them in slightly stronger lofts, am I right?
I think you probably could have. I mean, the irons I had, the V6 Tours, I really liked them.
Don't get me wrong, beautiful looking clubs. If they went another 20 yards further, you game them. And to be honest, they would be an absolute contender. You'd agree?
Yeah, they would. They are very, very cost effective, good quality forged iron.
Yeah, agreed.
That don't look like a shovel. So if you're looking to save a few quid and don't want to spend big money on a set of forged irons that are workable, go for it. Absolutely go for it. The reason that, by the way, this fell through is because I moved jobs, and where I am now, we don't stock Wilson. So had it worked out, I probably would still be playing them. Yeah. The woods, they're a different story. There is a reason why. I'm going to plug the video that we're going to release after this. There's a reason why there wasn't a Wilson driver in the top 5 drivers of the decade. It's because they're just not as good as they could be. No, and I think this brings us on a little bit into like what we're gaming now. And I know we've hit the drivers because we're both playing the same brand, aren't we, in terms of irons at the moment? Yeah. So you're using one of the latest drivers. I've not hit their brand new latest All Singing or Dancing. I remember hitting some of the older ones. And the issue was for me, and don't get me wrong, the irons are absolutely world class. Like I'm absolutely in love with mine. The only thing is, I think when I hit the drivers, that wasn't what they're known for as a brand. It's like going to Ferrari. It's like going to Ferrari for a pen. You're not going to get the best pen. You might have the brand, but you don't get the pen. But if you went there for a car, you're going to get something really world beating. That's how I look at it. Yeah, and I know Mizuno, they've been chatting for the last couple of years about the drivers are getting better, which they are, by the way. Yeah, the driver I used last season. Yeah, I have no doubt that Mizuno as a brand will very soon produce an outstanding driver. Yeah. Absolutely. And they've binned off the most important thing for me is they've binned off the blue. Great. So the driver I've used this year, which will be moving out for the new season, because that was a bit of a stopgap, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I've tested the new stuff, and we're going to, there you go, plug in another video that hasn't been filmed yet. We're going to test the new stuff and see what goes into the bag. Because I know you did a series, actually, didn't you? Searching for your new irons. Yeah, I did a while ago. Trying to do something similar, searching for my new driver. But I've got a good idea of what it is probably going to be after initial testing. But long and the short of it, in my bag, it's Mizuno through and through, with the woods. The woods are not there. Let's call them not there at the moment. At the moment, I've got Mizuno irons, Mizuno wedges. So let's break it really down. So what wedges do you carry? What lofts? Yeah, what loft? So 58, 54, 50. Okay, and in what wedges are they? Mizuno S18. Okay, we'll go with S18. Irons? I'm really sorry if I got that wrong. In the irons, JPX 919 Tour. Excellent. From pitch and wedge up to 6 iron. Oh, combo set. And the forged in the 4 and 5 iron. Oh yeah. What shafts? Project X LZ or LZ 6.5s. Nice. And then I've got a Fly High 3 iron as well. Cool. And which is obviously a 3 iron length, but a 2 iron loft. That's cool. And then in terms of woods? Woods at the moment, I've got the Mizuno woods that have just been replaced.
Yeah.
like I said, as a stopgap. So I won't go too much into those. But I'll tell you what I have just put in the bag.
Yeah. New
Maybe we
putter.
can edit this.
New
Maybe we can
putter.
edit this. Lib, help us out here.
No, it's me editing this.
Oh, should we keep it raw then?
Keep it raw.
I mean, it's just there.
Get it?
All right. Hold the phone.
Holding. I must
I was
admit,
going to do a video on this.
incredibly excited about this.
Huh?
Go on, let's see it.
I was going to do a video alone on this, but this, by the way, guys, there's no debate. Debate it all you want in the comments, but don't debate it with me. This is the best putter ever produced, and I found it. I regretted it. I regretted it since the day I sold my last one, and I found another one. So, Adam, if you're watching this, thank you for putting this on Facebook. I jumped on this. I think it was about 6:15 on a Sunday morning. So thank you for getting back to me, but let's not wait any longer. Have a look at this bad boy.
So it's a yes. Which one is it? The yes?
This is a yes. I've never known how to pronounce this. Is it a Cali or a Kylie?
Oh, I don't know.
Pretty sure it's Cali.
I don't know.
But look at that. This is unbelievable.
That is nice.
I'm going to try and put a black shaft on it.
Oh, cool.
Anyway, so that's what's going in the bag. And that's going to replace, assuming it works like it used to, Odyssey O Works number 7.
Great. Very good.
So that's my bag. We'll keep you updated on the wood situation. That'll be something to keep an eye out on. Callaway, you watching?
So in mine, I've got Mac Daddy 3 wedges in black, 58, 54, 50. And they are covered at the moment in lead tape quite high up the wedge because I just find it seems to grab more and gives it a slightly lower ball flight, which I really like. So you have the sole of the golf club, the weight's kind of up around the sort of top near the rim, and I'm just liking that at the moment. In terms of irons, I've got Project X LZs in my JPX 900 Mizuno forged, slightly older version than Joe's, but I say I absolutely love them. Honestly, I've had these things. Well, I mean, you can go back to the video on this channel as to when I was picking them. Still using those, still love it. They're from 4th pitching wedge. So I'm in a bit of a transition period at the moment in terms of the sort of 2-iron that I'm carrying. I'm carrying a PXG 2-iron at the moment. It's something I've gamed all through sort of last season. I'm tempted to maybe sell it. The new TaylorMade Sim hybrid I've hit seems really nice. The course that I'm playing at a lot suits more of a hybrid perhaps than a 2-iron. Just because some of the approach shots into green, some of the tee shots, actually you're trying to look for the ball to stop maybe a little bit quicker. And the other issue I've had with that 2-iron is just getting the weighting right. The swing weight, and I know people are going to go, he's talking about swing weight, but it's incredibly light. It's playing at the moment like a ladies iron. I'm struggling at the moment to get the weights to put in the back. I can get it sent off, but I think it's quite expensive. So I'm going to look at the option of maybe just selling it, parting ways and getting a Sim. In terms of driver and 3-wood, this is going to be quite controversial. I've gone back to my M2s. I've gone back to my M2 driver and M2 3-wood. The only reason is they're absolute rockets and they are some of the easiest clubs I've ever had to hit. I did go Epic Flash. I don't know if it's the shaft option, just couldn't get on with them. Weren't giving me the sort of confidence I wanted. The M2, I feel I can stand there and just hit it and just trust the fact that it's going to do what I want it to. So that's kind of what's in there at the moment. In terms of balls, we were asked about golf balls as well. We're playing. I've got my last few Chrome Soft Stars, which I'm slowly making my way through, which is like a tour-only ball thing. They feel great, but I've only got a few left. So I'm probably going to go into probably a Pro V1, I think, for next year. I think it's probably going to be the ball I'm going to play. I've sort of put it in practice, and I like it. And I like where it feels. I like the way it grabs around the green as well. So that's going to be probably my ball for this season.
Pro V1.
Pro V1 for you? Great, that ticks that off well. Right, so let's fire through the last couple. So what clubs are using, why we've done that? 2-iron or hybrid?
For me, 2-iron. I keep it on the golf course.
Oh, after what I've just said, I still want to agree it's a 2-iron, but maybe a 2 hybrid. I'd rather hit a 2-iron, but this new Sim hybrid's really got my attention. That's all I can say about it.
If I was to find a hybrid again, which I am proper fanboying over this new Maverick stuff, the new hybrid, the Pro version of the Maverick looks unbelievable. Have you seen it?
No, I've not seen it. I've not even had one in my hands yet.
So good. So I might do a bit of testing on that when it comes to looking at replacing the top end of my golf bag.
We then have tips on coming back into golf after a wrist injury. Do you want me to fire away?
Take it easy.
Yeah, that's
my answer.
Yeah, I would avoid hitting off mats.
Yeah.
If you can avoid hitting off mats or you can, the better. I remember I had, it's tendonitis, isn't it? Tendonitis in my wrists. The only way I got over it, didn't hit balls for a while. I then would start off with wedges, just hitting off turf, and I'd have some wrist supports on. Anything you can just to try and give your wrists a bit of stability, but get them back into the habit of being beaten up a little bit, really. By no means a doctor, though, so please don't follow this advice by exact. But this is just what I did. And then after a while, it started to feel happier, more comfortable. Would start hitting some sort of 3/4 shots, slightly longer shots, that sort of thing. But again, nothing major to put loads of poundage on it. The one thing I would say, if you're really looking to come back in performance-wise, practice your putting.
That's exactly what my answer was going to be. That was get really good at putting.
Yeah, essentially. You know, if you can't train long game, then just spend all the time you'd normally practice long game, spend it on putting. Because what a lot of people do is they get injured and go, oh, I can't do anything. We're quite lucky in this game that, you know, go and see a putting coach, go and get your short game going really well. And there are putting coaches.
If you're in Yorkshire, go and see Joe.
yeah, exactly. But if you're
sorry for anyone watching in Yorkshire, I've absolutely butchered the accent there.
I thought it was Australian. Is it Australian?
No.
Oh dear. But yeah, I think if you go and see a putting coach and practice that side of it, and that will hugely, I think, impact the game. Last question. We're on to the last one already. 2 dream 4 balls, 1 celeb, 1 golfer.
So, the other podcast that's coming out very, very soon.
It covers this.
Say again.
It covers this, doesn't it?
It does, but just 1 4 ball. So we didn't do a golfer one, did we? All of mine were celebrities.
Let's do a golfer one then. Dream golfer.
So we'll do a golfer one. Check out the Golfing Bucket List podcast, please, and you'll find out the celebrity one. Because there was some, in my opinion, it doesn't get any better. Oh, actually, disclaimer. I mentioned in that Bucket List podcast that I was off to see Gentleman that afternoon at the cinema, and I hadn't really looked into it. I'd only seen like the front cover on the trailer, and I was convinced that main character was Tom Hardy. It isn't, and I've gone. And I sat down in the cinema, and I was like, that looks like Tom Hardy, but it ain't Tom Hardy. Anyway, the credits come up at the end because I didn't really do any research into it. I just saw the picture and just thought it was him. And no, it turns out it's not. So for anyone down in the comments on that one that hasn't watched this video, it wasn't him. Anyway, right, golfers, 4 ball.
4 ball.
Go on, you go first.
Well, I'm going to put you in there. Because
that's very nice of you.
You know, we do a podcast things together, so why not? So it'd be myself, you, and then who others? I think Rory would have to be in there.
Sorry, hold on. Have they got to be playing on tour now? They got to be alive?
No, I don't think so. Just golfers.
So people that have popped it as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think Rory's got to be in there. Just because I think, you know, he's somebody I've sort of watched as you're kind of growing up and whatever, and seeing him win the events he won, you know, it was amazing, wasn't he? When he's on form, the guy is amazing. And then after that, probably Jack Nicklaus. And I know it sounds really cliche, you know, the Rory Jack idea, but yeah, and it is that face, isn't it? But
how's he missed out Tiger?
That's a really good point. I'm sacking you off, mate. Tiger's coming in.
Oh, God.
You can carry me back.
I was sat there thinking, is he going to put Tiger in? Is he going to put Tiger in?
Well, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Okay, and this isn't. Okay, so why would I choose Rory over Tiger? And that seems really wrong, right? It's sort of, and in my head, I'm going, that's completely wrong. I just feel that if you were to have a chat to Rory on the round, you potentially could see more of the person than with. I feel like with Tiger, he's going to keep a lot in.
Yeah.
He's going to be quite reserved. I feel with Rory, you're chatting to Rory and he will respond as Rory. Whereas with Tiger, I feel like he's done this sort of thing probably quite a lot. And that probably sounds, don't get me wrong. If I kick you out, he's coming straight in. He would be the next on my list. I feel Jack as well is Jack Nicklaus. He will respond to you as Jack.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, like that. That's how I would view it.
Yeah, no, I understand that. You would get more of a mate out of Rory.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Who would your dream be? Thanks.
Tiger, because Tiger's Tiger.
Yeah.
If I'm struggling for a fourth, you can come in.
Ah, thanks.
I haven't paid this much thought. If we're going on the subject of mates, or just a right proper bloke.
No, golfer.
Yeah, no, he's a golfer as well.
Fine.
And in fact, you know what? We might even be able to do it. You've practiced with him before. I'd have Beef in there.
Yeah, Beef be a good one.
So Beef, if you're watching, you're welcome for a round of golf anytime, mate.
I will WhatsApp him a link to this video and set the time to whatever time it is and see if he watches that bit and see if he takes you up on it.
Come to
your course. We'll DM
my
him.
Course. I mean, anyone that's observant, they'd have seen the logo already. And anyway, whatever. Beef, if you're in the London-ish, Surrey-ish, Berkshire-ish area, come for a round of golf. We'd love to do some filming.
Right.
Top bloke. Anyway, so right. Have I got Rory, Beef, and I'd go with. Let's
Tiger.
get you in there. What a four ball.
Oh, you've sacked Tiger for me. We've done the opposite. Yay!
No, sorry. Did I say? Oh yeah, I did say Rory.
Right. So should we leave it there? Because I think we've been on quite a while here.
Yeah, we have been on quite a while. Sorry, guys. A bit boring, but well, hopefully not boring. It's a bit long, I should say.
It's all about the pennies, isn't it? We're monetizing it soon.
Well, if people click that subscribe button, then maybe.
Right. As always, Joe, it's been a pleasure.
Pleasure. Thank you.
We're going to go through the whole notification. Hit subscribe, please. Not unsubscribe. Hit subscribe. Hit the bell icon. Follow us both on Instagram. Why not message us? Message us on Instagram. Let us know you've followed us. We'd love to actually see some people following.
Yeah, that would be really, really nice. Let us know that you've come from YouTube. Yeah, that's a good shout, that. So, guys, thanks very much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment down below. If we've made a bad choice on our four ball, let us know.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you all very soon.
Cheers.